I spent the first 4 days of my incarceration telling every guard, every police officer, every person at the hospital, when I was taken to the hospital before the jail, that my children were at the hotel and that they needed assistance, that no one sent them.
We told our grandchildren prior to that, if they ever needed our help, to call us and we'd come and get them. Well, that call came on the 30th of August, and he was scared and trembling, and he asked Grandma, how soon can you and Grandpa come and pick up me and Aiden?
Where were they?
They were at a motel that they had just checked into earlier that day by themselves. Oh, excuse me, on the 28th, they were at a motel by themselves.
Explain about the other brother. What's his name?
His name is Aiden Daniel Kincaid.
And he's an adult, is he?
He is 21 years old now. He was 20 when we picked him and his brother up at the motel room.
And what is his situation?
He is autistic. He is mentally challenged. He's disabled and needs supervised care. They were scared. They were hungry. They were left alone at a motel that they had just checked into the day their mom and stepfather were arrested. They'd been gone, they'd been alone for, it was the third day, 3 days by themselves in a strange place with no food.
Okay, so, and to your knowledge, their mother and her friend, Christopher Hutchinson, her husband, had both been arrested, is that correct?
Correct. They were mentally, emotionally, and physically abused, starved.
And you're drawing this conclusion from him and his brother have related to you, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
They have been homeless, sleeping in sheds outside in neighbors' trailer court yards, sleeping in storage units. They have been hungry and disciplined for wanting food, yelled at for eating food that they weren't supposed to eat because it was for their mother.
And tell us how particular has been getting on since he's been in your home.
He's been enrolled in school.
What school is he going to?
He goes to school in Indiana. He is attending school like a normal school-age child for the first time since kindergarten.
That's absolutely not true.
He has attended school, but not on a regular basis with them. He is doing well. All of his teachers, his speech therapist, and all of his teachers are very pleased with his progress. He's in attendance every day. He's excited about going to school. In fact, he didn't want to come today because he's missing art class and sub sandwiches at lunchtime. Based on the abuse that Liam came running out of their house saying, Grandma, Chris is beating Aiden. The police came out to their house and then sent the two boys back in to be with them for 2.5 more years of abuse and neglect without calling Child Protective Services or anything of that nature. I told Mr. Davis that for the past 21 years, they have been the air in our lungs and the beat in our heart, that we would do everything in our power to make sure that they would never have to live like that again. And we just ask prayerfully and respectfully that you would help us keep that promise we made to these two boys.
Okay, first and foremost, they had been to the doctors. Liam had recently been to the dentist and had caps and molars capped. Both children had had medical care.
I didn't say dentist.
Liam has never not attended school. He was enrolled in Mishawaka and was being helped out through the McKinney Bento program to make sure that transportation was provided even though we had been displaced. He has never not attended school. He had counselors and special help there and an IEP in place because of his dyslexia. He has always been in school. We have never not had him enrolled. My parents did call CPS. CPS came and saw me here twice since I've been here at the Elkhart County Jail. I have paperwork in my possession right now, signed by Emily Kuhn, stating that both accusations were unfounded and they closed the case. There was no abuse or neglect noted from DCS. The night that we were arrested, we had left to go pick up a small fridge for the room because there was no way to keep food there. I spent the first 4 days of my incarceration telling every guard, every police officer, every person at the hospital when I was taken to the hospital before the jail, that my children were at the hotel and that they needed assistance, that no one sent them. I finally sent someone who bonded out to a friend in Elkhart who went to the hotel and assisted them to call their grandparents. They were never abandoned. They were never left there intentionally, and the police officers at the scene were aware and did nothing. I have always taken care of my children. The 911 call that she is referring to, they were never abused by their stepfather or me. They were hungry at the hotel when they got picked up because we had been detained and unable to return at that point. There has never been a lack of food or protection for them. They have always been able to eat. We were staying with friends for a short amount of time that had food that was specifically for them. There were instructions given to the children not to eat food that didn't belong to us, but they had food available that was ours. I have never had food that was specifically for me over my children. I would have gone hungry myself first.
And she has.
Please don't interrupt proceedings.
Both of my children have a legal POA that is available and accessible to work with my parents. That was never intending to remove them from their physical custody. All we had requested was that they include us in the children's lives at this point and in the decisions. They have refused. My mother has hung up on me, refused to allow me any type of visitation or contact with my children. I have called repeatedly. I have sent Christmas gifts, letters, birthday cards. No response at all from them to even let me know if my children received these items.
Please don't interrupt the proceedings.
I have, even from jail, continued to try and take care of my children. And they have refused to even allow me to see them or speak to them. Guardianship at this point, if it is temporary, I am not trying to remove them at this point. But I do not agree with or acknowledge the accusations of ill treatment. They need a home right now. That is not the question. I respectfully request that you grant temporary guardianship until my release and until I have access to a stable home for them. Also am requesting that I be allowed to visit my children, that I'm allowed to speak to them, to have phone calls with them. I have never tried to exclude my parents from my children's lives. They have distanced themselves because of their personal opinions about my husband. That is their choice. It does not change the fact that the children were cared for. I have school records, I have dentist records, I have doctor's records. They have been cared for. And I have 2 closed DCS cases that back up my side of this story.
I didn't ask your mother, but do we know who the father of Liam is?
No,
Based upon the testimony I've heard, I will grant the petitioner's guardianship of the state and the persons of the minor children herein. I do believe that some type of parenting time is probably appropriate. I am not sure the exact mental health or situation of Lyman, so I'm going to appoint a guardian ad litem to more fully investigate that case before I make that decision. But I do think that sufficient evidence has been presented today to grant petitioner's guardianship of the person in the state of